Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, mate. 5 more hours and I am at 6,000 count. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Listen, soldier. I believe in the shiny Arceus. It will happen. I don't know when. But I believe in it. So you got that. At least you have my belief. At the very least. Oh, but besides that, how's everyone today? Is the audio all good? Everything good? Nothing's too loud? Nothing's too quiet? Just making sure, I am tired. Woo-wee. Shoo. Sorry, you're back? Hey, soldier. I was just asking if the audio... Memmy! 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 Hello? Okay. Let me go ahead and shout out Memmy before I get started. There we go. You know the whole spiel. Memmy's epic, she's an alien. VTuber. You get it. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really tired right now. I've been pulling out freaking carpet, staples, nails all day for my mom and her new house. Hey, Lady Gamer Mom, welcome. I gotta shout you out too. Thank you so much for dropping by. Oh well, Soldier's already done it for me. Thank you, Soldier. But yeah. I think everyone here knows already from last time, but just to make sure, Lady Gamer Mom is a VTuber and she's a variety streamer. Right now, she's recently been playing Ghostwire Tokyo, and she's going to be playing Pokemon Legends Arceus on Monday. So please make sure to check that out. I'm really excited for that myself. I'll probably be giving her some tips and stuff if I can. Is that the mochi? Is that the mango? Hold on. Oh, wait, what's that notification? Buddy plays games! Thank you so much for the follow! Hello, buddy! Hi! It's me. It's Mochi. Oh, shit! Skip the text! No. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, God. I'm getting... let me catch up on chat. But yes... Welcome, Mango. The Mochi. Yes, it is. Hey, Bunny. Oh, no problem, Mom. I hope you get some more. I hope you get the amount of followers you need for affiliate soon. She's only, I believe, 7 or 6 followers away from getting affiliate, so hopefully we can get her there soon. I hope she gets it. Make sure to follow Bunny, too. Actually, I need to shout out Bunny before it. Gosh, I gotta shout out everybody. Everyone's so epic. Bunny plays game. I should probably just start like playing the game, but like I can't just not shout out my peeps. Bunny's a VTuber along with her mom and Dragon Fate, and she has like a bunny character. It's very cute. She's got like cute little hair and stuff like that. Very pink, very lovable. Please go give her some love. She's been playing Kingdom Hearts. Melody of Memory lately. I can't speak. Also, I'm so sorry, guys. I have to shout out everybody. Go send some love to Mango Dude Bro. He. I'm gonna say it's a he. I've never actually asked their gender, so I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But they're starting to get into VTubing. They're a Palico Cat from Monster Hunters, so please just give them a follow in advance, and I'm pretty sure they will very much appreciate it. Oh no, you guys are sweet. You guys are sweet for sitting here listening to my rambling while I sit at the freaking pause screen. But anyways, okay. Let's get into the novel. Okay, so I accidentally skipped the first text. Mango gender reveal. You just got your PNG tuber files today? Dude, okay. Alright, that's epic. Okay. Okay, that's epic. Alright, I like that. Yeah, Mom, please check them out if you get a chance. I'm sure they'll very much appreciate it. And I'm sure Mango will give you a follow too and drop by for you as well. Yeah. Okay, okay. Mochi. I can't. Please forgive me. Oh my god, please forgive me. I'm all over the place today. I started streaming and everyone came to give me love and say hi. I can't. I can't. Okay, alright. This time for sure. This time for sure. Okay. I've heard it takes about 3 days to get a cat to take to you. The girl named Irisu Makina got attached to me even faster than that. Yes, this is the same Makina who used to flee the instant she laid eyes on me. I have no idea what changed her mind, but lately it's been quite the opposite, with her approaching me on sight. Yeah, true. Not that she's particularly talkative. After a small greeting, she tends to just tag along in silence. Of course, I got it when I'm at a convention and trapped there. Oh gosh. You'll be able to make use of it soon, Mango. I'm excited to see your streams, though. I'm very excited to see how unique you are and what you bring to the table. I think that's a really unique concept, the Calico Cat. Mental note of the people you shout out when they come in so I can do it. Well, thank you very much, Soldier. And so Soldier doesn't stream often, but he does stream occasionally. And he's just a really good guy that's always been with me, even though I've not been too active. So if you could just give him a little check out, just if you can. He's a great guy, and I don't know. I like the guy. All right, I gotta give him a shout out. I can't forget Soldier. Okay. What I bring to the table: Tripper Carts versus Great Jaggy. There we go. But yeah, show Soldier some love too, please. Oh my gosh, so chaotic. So much love I have to give. You want something? Honestly speaking, getting followed around for no reason like this is a little annoying. That said, there's no reason for me to coldly shoo her away either. You don't need to go to afternoon class? I see. How many of y'all have conversations like this? Where just someone just sticking next to you and you just don't know what to say and they just talk in responses to what you're saying immediately. I feel like I've had too many of these conversations. I don't know about anyone else, but I've had too many conversations where people just walk up to me and they're like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey," they're like, "How are you?" I'm like, I'm good," and then they just keep following me. Oh my gosh. Also, I should probably give a summary for people that like Bunny and those that's just now joining in for this game. This is a visual novel called The Fruit of Grisaia, as you can probably see from the title. But with this visual novel is the summary is basically the main character Yuji is he's like a secret agent. He's like an assassin. And he gets rid of bad guys. But lately he's been wanting to try to live a normal life as a student. So they transferred him to this school to it's like a really special school that accommodates for students with needs that with certain needs. So every character here is special, and that's why there's only 6 students. Of course, you're the only boy, and there's 5 girls. Of course, But yeah, and yeah, I think that's a good enough summary. family ex-spy. In other words, she's probably just bored. The schedule at this school is divided between the core's curriculum in the morning and the optional courses in the afternoon. It's not rare for a few of my classmates to be lazing around by the vending machines after lunch. If you've got nothing to do, how about going back to the dorm and studying? Is what I'd like to say, but come to think of it, I'm also wandering around wasting my time free 5th period. Today is not the day to get art. No, soldier, listen. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get Arceus. I believe in it. Oh yeah, I still need to grind out the rest of the decks. Oh, which decks are you doing, Mingo? Guess I don't exactly have the right to lecture Machina. Want something to drink? I dig my hand around in my pockets, searching for small change. Holding out her right palm toward me to declare, it's fine, Machina takes out something that looks like a green stuffed animal from her pocket. The vaguely frog-shaped thing seems to be a purse, as its red mouth opens wide with the snapped metal bearings. I need to get it. You'll get it, soldier. Today will be the day. After taking out a few coins, Machina buys a juice box from one of the vending machines lined up in the passage, then returns to my side. Pulling the attached straw free with stubby, clumsy-looking fingers, Machina pierces it into the juice box and starts to slurp up the contents. Similarly, I drink quietly from my paper cup full of oolong tea. True. Now we're repeating ourselves. It's just an endless loop of small talk. Probably evidence that we're both puzzled over how to get a conversation started. Who was it that told me the man has to break the ice in situations like this? Of course, I'm not confident I could pull that off if I tried. What do I talk about with a girl like Machina? Stories. Stories. It's a fairly standard request, but I'm not sure where to go with this. What sort of story? A cool story. That's a bit tricky. When you're looking for a chilling tale, I think ghost stories are the standard choice. Fortunately, I'm not lacking in that department, a legacy of the time I spent at my old school. Alright then. This is something I heard from an upperclassman at my previous school. This is the story of an American soldier who found himself on a southern island in a night flooded with lukewarm rain. The soldier was making his way south through the darkened jungle amid the pelting downpour, following a native trail with 8 companions. Their objective was an enemy anti-aircraft position. The rain had been falling for 2 days straight, leaving the ground swampy as a paddy field. With the moon hidden by thick storm clouds, the soldiers couldn't even see the back of their comrade walking 2 or 3 meters ahead. The squad's nerves were already worn by the suggestive darkness of the night jungle, but the relentless rain piercing through the tree canopy was slowly sapping their endurance as well. And on top of it all, the rough map they'd received from the scouts was vague to the point of uselessness, good for little but further fueling their anxiety. As the squad trudged down at a virtual crawl through the knee-deep mud, it was inevitable that their formation grew increasingly loose. So the American soldier, a sniper bringing up the rear of the column, was desperately struggling to avoid getting separated from the rest of his unit. Eventually, he heard a distinctive clacking from some distance in front of him, rising above the sound of the rain. He recognized the sound as the castanets the platoon leader carried as a means to communicate at night, or in poor visibility conditions where hand signals were impractical. The number of times he clacked indicated an order to halt on the spot. The man dropped to one knee in the muddy water, grasped his rifle to his breast, and removed the lens cap from his scope, shielding it from the rain. An enemy ambush? Lying flat on the spot, the man pressed his strong eye against the gun's sight. The back of the soldier in front of him came into view. No shots had been fired as of yet. Earlier reconnaissance had indicated that there were barely any enemy troops or armed guerrillas in this area. If there were enemies here, the odds that they would be scouts and most likely a fairly small group. As the man rested his chin in the muddy water to watch the jungle ahead, he heard the first sounds of gunfire. The enemy wasn't even 30 meters away from his squad. They practically bumped into each other. 6 lines of fire from the enemy position. Just as he thought, it seemed to be a small scouting group. Judging from the reckless way they opened fire blindly, they were probably poorly trained guerrillas who'd panicked after encountering their enemy under these unusual conditions. Removing his gaze from the scope, the man grasped his weapon and pulled back on the bolt handle, pushing his 7.62mm bullet into the exposed chamber. He quickly returned his dominant eye to the eye cup of his sight. Armed guerrillas? Bro, they got Metal Gears in this universe. The muzzle flashes, visible through the scope-burned white afterimages, into his pupil, fully dilated after his long walk in the darkness. He couldn't see the enemy. Aiming on intuition alone, he squeezed the trigger. A momentary explosion of light from his gun, and he heard an enemy's grunt from the bush some 30 meters away. A hit. The man took his rifle in both hands and began to crawl on his elbows and knees in search of a new firing position. After moving about 10 meters to his left, he discovered a convenient foxhole that would serve his purpose nicely. When he swung his body down into the hole, he found it was half full of stagnant water, just as he had expected, but that fact barely registered in his mind. More importantly, from a position like this, he could snipe while hidden for a time. Sunk to the waist in the muddy water, he mechanically pulled back his rifle's bolt and squeezed the trigger, again and again and again. All of a sudden, he heard a voice from the next foxhole. Since when had it been occupied? "Hey, give me a grenade!" In response, the man took an M67 grenade from the belt slung around his waist and held it out, the safety pin still fixed in its place. A white hand reached out from the nearby trench and received it. "Thank you." The man was certain he heard those words. But no matter how long the man waited, his comrade didn't throw the grenade. Maybe the safety pin was bent somehow, and he couldn't get it loose? "Hey, you okay?" As the man was speaking those words, he started to move his head to look above the edge of his encampment at that moment, the grenade exploded in the next foxhole. Gah! An explosion at point-blank range isn't something you hear. The overpowering waves of sound aren't recognized by your ears as noise. A mass of burning air struck the man like a wall, knocking the helmet off his head and thrusting his body backward into the muddy pool. His mouth, thrown open by the explosion, was instantly filled with filthy water. As the man desperately tried to spit it out, he realized his tongue had been knocked back into his throat. He couldn't breathe. Quickly thrusting his hands into his mouth, the man peeled his tongue free with his fingers and powerfully vomited the water together with the breath that had gathered in his lungs. His throat was burning from inhaling the explosion's scorching wind, and he couldn't stop the tears that were pouring down his face. His head felt like it had been taking a direct hit from a fastball made of concrete, and his ears were filled with high-pitched ringing. "Hey, you alright? Get it together!" Curled up in the muddy water with his head in his hands, the man heard the voice of a comrade. At least his eardrums hadn't shattered. He felt himself being dragged up out of the foxhole by both arms. "We've got to move! Temporary withdrawal! Can you walk?" It took all the man's effort to nod his head. He couldn't see, his ears were barely functional, and his throat was on fire. He couldn't even speak. The man began to run his hands across the ground in a panic. His comrade knew that he was looking for. The man felt his rifle pressed back into his hands. Reassured by the familiar feel of his weapon, the man slung it onto his shoulder. His hands still clutching the ground, he fled that place at a crawl. Had 30 minutes passed? When the man came to himself, the rain had, ironically enough, finally stopped. His vision had largely recovered. When he looked around, he saw his companions, all just as filthy with mud. "Hey, Shorty! You still alive?" The sniper was still scurrying along the ground when that voice called to him. It belonged to a black man who'd joined the army at the same time as him. They'd been in the same squad in their training days as well, and the black man was his closest friend in the platoon. His greeting was casual as always. "Give me a break." The man re-shouldered his beloved rifle and told his friend about the hand grenade accident. That voice from the next foxhole, the grenade he handed over in response, moments later, the explosion. The man angrily spat out the details of his brush with death through another stupidity. The black man listened in silence. When the story was over, after a brief pause, he finally spoke. "Huh? The hell are you talking about, Shorty?" The black man said his story wasn't possible. Come to think of it, of course it was. The man was the unit's birdman, the rear guard, the end of the line. Usually the birdman marched 10 to 20 meters behind the squad. There was no way an ally would have been encamped only 2 or 3 meters from his position. Even considering his movements to change his firing position, he couldn't have met anyone until the unit broke into retreat. I mean, let's say you're right and some jackass dropped a grenade in his own foxhole. Okay, who was that? When the man looked around his surroundings, all 8 of the squad's other members were accounted for. A few were lightly wounded, but clearly none of them had been on the receiving end of a grenade blast recently. So, who the hell did you give that grenade to? In response to his friend's words, a shiver ran down the man's spine. After rejoining the main force and completing his report, the man told his story to a grizzled veteran. The sergeant major had an explanation of sorts for him. "That place is right around the site of an old battle where many Americans died. Among them, many were wounded who'd been cruelly, slowly butchered by guerrillas with spears and bayonets. And some who had reached the grenades on their waist and pulled out the pin, rather than to be tortured to death. So, in the end, who had taken the man's grenade? Perhaps a lingering spirit, still clinging to the battlefield, even in death? Or the story went, what do you think? Get a bit of a chill?
なんて話を聞かせてくれるのよさ。おしっこちびりそうなのよ。
Oh, sorry about that. Forget it.
無理。今夜一人でおトイレ行った時、絶対泣く。
My bad.
今度お話をするときは、もうちょっと楽しいお話にして。
Huh? Yeah, got it. Makina throws her empty juice box into a trash can and starts to patter away. As usual, she leaves as quickly as she arrives. But this time, after walking about 3 meters, Makina stops on the spot and turns back to me.
ね、お兄ちゃん。
What?
お兄ちゃんは死後の世界ってあると思う？
Life after death. Can't say for sure since I've never experienced it firsthand. If you believe in it, then maybe there is. In the army, there's a popular story about an afterlife exclusively for soldiers. It's a story you'll find in the armed forces of pretty much any country, in pretty much identical form. If you believe an afterlife is waiting for you, it will be. I'm sure it's something like that.
そっか。ありがとう。じゃあまた。
With those words, she runs off, this time without looking back. I don't think I said anything particularly interesting, but hearing words of thanks naturally lightens my mood anyways. Drinking up the remaining oolong tea with a gulp, I throw the empty cup in a trash bin and walk off toward our classroom for the 6th period class. There's a subspecies of woman distinguished by an excessive kind of helpfulness, the burning desire to take care of other people's problems. Within a few days of entering this school, I had a rough idea that Suo Amane fit this busybody woman classification. But I have to admit, I wasn't expecting her to extend her meddling to me quite so quickly. Although I suppose it's inevitable that we'd run into each other a lot since we live in the same dorm. It seems like she's coming to me every free moment and playing the big sister. I wish she'd put herself in my shoes. It's not easy having to politely shoot her down every time. Not wasting any time, are you? I'm not sure how she got the idea in her head, but lately every time a break begins, Amane's been clinging to me from behind. Then forcefully pressing her oversized lumps of breast blubber against me as if to say, check it out, I'm the big tits character. The way they droop just a little is very popular with the enthusiast. That's funny. Look, you're heavy. Remove your chest flap from my head. Booba. It is Booba, Nemi. On the contrary, I'm something of a fan. Then Memi, that's a lie. You do not hate boobs. I don't believe that. I'd prefer that. A man sexually harass me. At least, I could knock him flat without feeling guilty about it. What do you want from me? If you have something to say, then spit it out already. Thanks, sis. But I'm a big boy now, so could you please get lost? Stop that. I'm a dainty little thing. I'll break more easily than you'd think. They say a snapping turtle won't release prey from its bite even if a lightning strikes nearby. Amane is a similar beast. Once she clings to me, my only release is the sound of the bell. Yeah, dude. If this woman kept a pet cat, I'm positive it would go bald from stress within a week. I'm not confident my own hair will be safe if I allow these assaults to continue. I think it's about time I get my message across, even if it requires a somewhat harsh attitude. Amane, that's about enough. Just as I begin to shout, Sakaki appears with spectacular timing.
Suo-san, 少しいいかしら?
Yumiko grimaces at Amane's response. Her glare is expressive. I? Who are you supposed to be?
まあいいわ。次の地歴の授業で使うプロジェクターの準備があるでしょ。ああ、そうか。今日の日直、私とマキナだ。イリスさん一人で準備を始めたけど、放っておいていいの？ごめん、ユージ君。私行かなき
ゃ。Don't mind me.
急いだ方がいいわよ。またイリスさんが機材を壊す前に。マキナ
finally released me. What a noisy woman.
あれ、わざとああしてドタバタして見せているのよ。ネクラだってバレるのがそんなに怖いのかしら。
What do you mean?
言葉の通りよ。まあ、昔のスオーさんのように無駄にうじうじしているよりはマシだと思って、私は諦めることにしたわ。
You make it sound like you're familiar with her past. Have you known Amane that long?
そうね。と言っても、知り合ってまだ1年程度だけれど。
So Amane wasn't always like this?
何？彼女に興味があるの？
I just don't understand the woman. Why does she drape herself all over me like that?
私が知るわけないじゃない。彼女に直接聞いたらどう？
I did. Just the other day, having stocked up necessities for my new dorm life at the local supermarket, I was wandering leisurely around the area in front of the GIS station.
あれ、ゆうちゃんじゃん。何してんのこんなとこで。
Don't call me that.
なんで？かわいいじゃん。
Spare me. I can't get any cuter than I already am. All the other girls will get jealous and start picking on me. Yeah, something like that.
そういう言い回し、誰かに似てるって言われない？
Like who?
さあ、それより何？お買い物？
Amane pointed at the plastic supermarket bag dangling from my hand.
ボックスティッシュに乾電池、サラダ油にマヨネーズ、あとはレトルトのカレーにデンタルフロス、それともやし。
Look, you don't just start rifling through my bag.
カレーを買うなら南口の山陽より北口の松栄の方が安いよ。もやしも松栄さんなら1袋29円だし。
You're as knowledgeable as always. Do you wander around comparing prices all day long?
別に毎日ってわけじゃないけど、買い物のたびにチェックはしてるかな。
She's got an impressive devotion to economizing. I felt definite admiration since my master was the sort of wild woman who bought things without even looking at the price tag.
牛乳、卵、野菜を買うなら松栄さん。お魚、お肉、トイレットペーパーを買うなら山陽さんって覚えておくといいよ。
Well, I'm not that caught up on the price. I appreciate the thought, but I just want a store that's convenient. It's all well and good to wander around looking for bargains, but when you consider the increased effort and consumption of time involved, getting too picky frequently turns into a loss.
まあ、男の子はそうだよね。
That's right, I'll be going.
帰るの？
Yeah, I did finish my shopping.
じゃあ、一緒に帰ろうよ。
As soon as the words left her mouth, Amane was standing by my side, firmly grasping my hand. Firmly grasp it. What do you think you're doing?
何が？
This, of course. In demonstration, I raised the hand that Amane had gripped, or rather captured, her fingers entwined tightly with mine. What am I, a kid who won't go home unless Mama pulls him there? I've got to admit, I don't remember acting quite that adorably, so I'm very interested in where you're coming from here. Still gripping my right hand tightly, Amane raised the forefinger of her other hand against her lip and racked her brains for an answer.
幼い弟の手を引いて家に帰る優しいお姉ちゃんプレイ？
Oh my god. Oh, is that it? If it's role-playing, then I guess I have to play along. Did you really think I'd say that? Off! I forcefully yanked my arm free, shaking off Amane's grip.
もう嫌なの？
If you think that puppy dog face will make me act nicer out of guilt, you're very wrong. Don't flirt in public. That's a rule of mine.
二人きりならいいの？
Stop twisting my words. The point is, I can't think of a single reason why I should hold hands with you.
私がつなぎたいからじゃあ理由にならないの？
It's not an answer to the question why you want to hold hands.
私ね、過去の事故のトラウマで誰かと手をつないでいないと不安なのよ。
Some kind of obsessive compulsive disorder? What sort of accident was it?
それは秘密？
The hell?
やだ、怒らないでよ、冗談なんだから。
As she spoke, Amane took my hand for the second time. Joking? When did the joke start? Ah, this is irritating. Take the left at least. I can't calm down when someone's got a hold of my dominant hand. Loose dress code at this school. I know, right? Well, Lady Gamer Mom, I think this is their casual clothes. The ones that they wear at, like the blue and white dress, I think that's their school clothes. This is just their casual clothes when they go outside the dorm. I think at least. I don't know. It could just be a loose dress code.
別にね、手を握ることに深い意味なんてないよ。ただ、せっかく同じクラスになったんだし、仲良くしたいなってそう思っただけ。
Why get friendly with me?
それ理由がいる？君は子供の頃とか友達を作るのに損得や理由を考えてた？
Hard to say. Didn't have any.
じゃあ逆に聞くけど、どうして私じゃダメなのかな？
I wouldn't say I don't. I just want to understand your motive.
ならいいじゃない。仲良くしましょうよ。
You're a weird one.
うちの学校で変じゃない子って一人もいないよ、多分。
I'm going back.
帰ろう。
Having moved to my left as I requested, Amane didn't mess around any further. On her way back, she calmly acted her age. Holding hands really did seem to be enough to satisfy her. Doubts did run through my head. Considering it's only been a few days since we met, she's bizarrely friendly. But still, as she is a member of our class full of special cases, despite her relatively normal facade, Amane must have her own unhappy circumstances. This hand-holding may well have some meaning for her.
で、彼女の過去を鑑みるに、スキンシップを無下に断るのも気が引けるので、うやむやのうちに黙認していたら、最近富に目に余るほど過剰な接触をするようになってきたと。
We'll make a detective out of you yet.
何を偉そうに。
Tsukaki, what sort of accident was Amane involved in?
知らないわ。
If it's not something you can talk about, I'll leave it alone.
そうじゃなくて、本当に知らないのよ。あまり興味もないし。でも、文字通り交通事故だったという話ね。
A car crash?
何でも、彼女が乗っていたバスが事故を起こして、それが原因で心を病んでいるという話を聞いたことはあるけれど、手をつなぎたがる癖があるなんて話は過分にして聞いたことがないわね。
Then why was she so persistent about it?
だから知らないわよ。彼女視力が悪いようだし、それが原因じゃない？
Does bad eyesight make you want to hold hands?
さあ、視力が未発達な赤ん坊が何でも口に入れて舌で物体の形状や温度を認識するのと同じで、何でも触ってみないと落ち着かないんじゃないかしら。
plausible theory, but I'm having a hard time buying it in her case. In the first place, are her eyes that terrible?
知らないわよ。興味ないって言ったでしょ。
I'm wasting my breath talking to you.
気が合うわね。私もたった今、あなたとの会話はつまらないと言おうとしていたところよ。
Dang, y'all two need to hug it out or something. just get a big old hug going. Guess we're done here, or would be if I hadn't just spotted Komine Sachi out of the corner of my eye. Hey Sachi, you have a minute?
はい、何でしょう。
Do you know anything in particular about Amane's past?
いいえ、私は詳しい話は何も。
So in other words, nobody knows the whole story?
あえて聞くような楽しい話題ではないし、自分から不幸自問ができるほどに回復している学生ならいつまでもこんなところにはいないでしょうしね。
True enough. As long as the person in question doesn't want to discuss it, I suppose I shouldn't pry any further. And in the first place, I'm a little dubious that Amane's past really has anything to do with holding my hand.
何かあまねさんが思わず手をつなぎたくなるほどに好かれるようなことをしたのではないですか？
That's taking things in a new direction. Specifically, what do you think I did?
そうですね。例えば、あまねさんが街でヤンキーに絡まれているところを助けたとか。
雨の日に捨て猫の入った段ボールにそっと傘を置いていったところを見られたとかね。
It's so funny. Well, whatever. Neither rings a bell. I have no memories of us being lovers in a previous life either.
そんな記憶があったら気持ち悪いわよ。
Ouch.
この学園に男の人が転入してくるのは珍しいですし、何かこうクラスメイトの男子とそういうデートじみたことがしてみたかっただけなのではないでしょうか。
You think so? Incidentally, Sachi, does that mean you've gotten interested in holding hands and going on a date with me as well? Yo, we getting best girl this soon? Let's go.
手をつなぐこと自体は嫌ではないですし、俺と手をつなげ、デートをしろとそう強く命令していただければ絶対に断らないと思いますけど。
I don't know about that. I see. Thank you for your valuable opinion. I'll file it under not helpful in the slightest. Oh my god. How about you, Sakaki?
私があなたと手をつないでデート？
Right. Got any interest?
困ったわ。どう答えればあなたを傷つけずに済むのかしら。
Oh! Oh my god! Oh! Kill the man today! I get the picture. Thanks so much for your compassion. Oh, fucking killed him. So in the end, asking around didn't get me anything resembling a clear answer. From what Sakaki says, it doesn't seem like Amane wants to hold hands indiscriminately. The mystery's only deepened.
大丈夫、マキノ。あそこ狭いからぶつけないようにね。大丈夫。なんで言ってるそばからぶつけるかな、あんたは。私はそういう生き物なのよさ。
That sort of life form. Just at that moment, Amane enters the classroom, pulling Makina by the hand, oblivious to our gossiping. I point my thumb towards the pair and their connected hands. You said Amane doesn't have a whole habit of holding hands, right?
まあ、イリスさんは特別。手をつないでおかないと ふらふらとどこかへ行っちゃうような子だし。
Sakaki watches Amane and Makina as she speaks. Suddenly, she clasped her hands together as if struck by a burst of insight.
あなた、あの子と同列に見られているのではないかしら。
Say what? Wait, what? I've been put in the same category? With a kid like this, who you half expect to get lost tottering off there a butterfly? What a seriously unpleasant thought.
スオさんは面倒見がいいのよ。なんていうか、言葉は悪いけど、きっとダメ男が好きなんじゃないかしら。
Ah, dang, Yumiko's just taking every chance to take a shot, like, pop, pop, pop. I appreciate that you're probably trying to help, but that's basically an indirect way of saying you look like a hopeless man.
ん？そう言ったつもりだけど。
God dang. Sakaki, could you please stop rubbing salt in the wound without even realizing it? It kinda stings.
あら、心外だわ。これでも随分と高評価しているつもりなのだけれど。
Oh my god. Mind answering one last question for me?
何かしら。
Is there even a single normal person in this school?
言ったでしょ。まともならこんな学園になんていないわよ。あなたを含めてね。
True enough. Don't think you've got some special variety. Don't think you've got some special variety of unhappiness. Sensing the admonition underneath Sakaki's words, I feel the stirrings of something like shame. Whether it's normal or not, this student life isn't bad in its own way. I've started to like this place enough to reach that conclusion. A hobby is a window that gives you a fresh perspective on the world, or so my sister said. But when I was a kid, struggling through my daily life was about all I could handle. I disliked and avoided change even when it might have brought me something new. So, my sister's recommendation was to at least try reading books. That sister of mine was an unbelievably voracious bookworm herself, and she began to push the ones she finished on me. Any of you guys read books? I guess this is technically a book, but not really. It's basically a book, but I haven't read like a paper book in quite a while. I might get back into it. I remember the books I used to read back in school was like Goosebumps and stuff like that. I really like that stuff. But anyways, sorry. Read manga from time to time? Gotcha. That sister of mine wasn't... Oh yeah. And she began to push the ones she finished on me. I soon picked up a reading habit, although I didn't find any particular meaning in it at the time. My sister is dead now, as are my parents and my master, yet I'm still reading. The sister who taught me to read books, the parents who weren't angry at me when I was reading books, and the master who praised me for reading books, buying me as many as I wanted. I'm grateful to them now, since I found some meaning in the act of reading.
Kazami-kun.
Hmm?
今、少し時間大丈夫かしら?
Yeah. I turn around in response to Yumiko's greeting, and find her carrying a sizable load of paperback and hardcover books.
読み終わった本を持ってきたのだけれど、読む?
Sure. Appreciate it as always.
いいのよ。私も読み終わった本の始末ができて楽だから。
As anyone with a long-term reading habit is well aware, books pile up before you know it. That said, it's hard to just throw them away, and selling them to a used bookstore feels disrespectful to the author. The ideal is to find another avid reader to dump them on. Incidentally, before I came, Sakaki had apparently been pushing the books she finished onto the library. By now, she's established her own private shelf in there, full of pleasure reads. Most likely she spotted me by coincidence as she was carrying her books there and figured she could save herself the walk. Heavy, right? Here. I slide my hand under the book Sakaki is carrying. Watch it. Don't take your hands off yet. The books are going to fall.
あなたの手が私の手に触れているのだけれど。
Of course it is. Don't worry. My hygienic standards are higher than you might expect.
そういうことじゃなくて、もう。
You complain too much. Alright, I got a hold on them. You can let go now.
少し無神経よ、あなた。
That's so. Anyway, I'll gratefully read the books. When I finish one, I'll return it to the Sakaki collection. So if you want to reread any of them, they'll be in the library.
わかったわ。それじゃあ、私は失礼するわね。
Yeah. I take a quick look at the titles of the books I'm holding. Sohei Akai, The Decisive Pudding Battle. Kumabata Takeru, Yesterday's Black Cat. Hirao Atsuko, The Exit of the Desert. How much y'all want to bet I butchered like half those names? I'll put some good money on that. Oh god, not again. Seno Takumi. Professor Takeda's Dinner. Ethan Crow, An Insolent Woman. Shinonome Kazuma, You blew it, Omori. Although she reads quite a variety of genres and authors, it seems that Sakaki fundamentally likes whodunits. Of the 6 books she passed me, 4 are mysteries. Come to think of it, I could easily see Sakaki sitting at a detective's desk using her brains for a living. Flipping open one of the books, I speak towards the shadow of a nearby pillar. Makina, how long do you plan on hiding there? I'm not mad or anything. How about you come out?
なんで私だってわかったのよさ。
Your aura is too crude. I can sense you even when you're hidden.
そんなこと言われたの初めてなのよさ。
I just said that for the hell of it. You were casting a shadow on the floor. I could tell it was you from the hide in that shaggy head.
隠れるにしても雑すぎってこと？
Pretty much. Why were you hiding in the first place?
別に隠れてたわけじゃないのよさ。お兄ちゃんとユミちゃんのお話が終わるまでじっと黙ってただけなのよ。
You don't get along with Sakaki?
そういうわけじゃないのよ。でもユミちゃんはきっと私のことあんま好きじゃないと思うのよさ。
On the other hand, I'm pretty sure Sakaki said something like, I think Irisu-san avoids me on purpose. You're in a state of mutual wariness. Well, I suppose that does happen sometimes. Sakaki, a guarded person who doesn't reveal her thoughts easily, and Makina, who feels most secure when she's burrowed her way into someone's heart. Their personal comfort zones may be incompatible. Well, it's foolish to expect everyone to get along with everyone else in the entire world. There's no need to forcibly push these two together. But at the very least, maybe a mutual compromise is called for. I don't think Sakaki dislikes you, Makina, so try not to hate her yourself.
だから別に嫌ってないし。ただなんていうか。何を話していいのかもわかんないし。
That is way too relatable. There's like so many people that like I think are good people, but I don't really talk to them often just cuz like what do we talk about? Because most of the time it's usually a matter of like us not sharing interest or something, and it's just like weather's great today. I don't know. I see.
むしろ逆に聞くけど、お兄ちゃんはどうやって あの気難しいユミちゃんと年頃な間柄になったの？
Well, it's not like we're particularly close, but we have a common interest in books, so I guess that helped get things started. Of course, I get the idea Sakaki mostly views me as a little more than a convenient book disposal. After all, it's hard to say you're friendly with someone who scowls so bluntly just because your hands touch. That's how I am with some of my friends. Yeah. Machina, do you have any hobbies?
趣味？そうね。強いて言えば散歩ぐらい？
Solo?
大抵一人で。
That's not good.
なんでさ、一人遊びってなんかちょっとエッチっぽくてよくない？
Oh my god. I feel like I can't. Okay. No. Also, no.
あれ？
At the company I work at, solitary hobbies are fundamentally discouraged. They place a lot of stress on keeping up some form of communication with others. When it comes to the interests of the employees, the basics are alcohol, women, and gambling, but it's a bit difficult to own up to that in front of the boss. What language are these, you know, it's... Sometimes I feel like visual novel characters speak a language of their own. But, the voices are Japanese, if that's what you're asking. Because the game was originally made in Japan, and the text is like, it's just translated English text so we can read. But they're naturally speaking Japanese. Okay, I already read that. Therefore, when asked, some of them just come up with a safe-sounding conventional hobby like shogi or go. When the superiors reacted favorably to those answers, the end result was that the hobbies column in the employee survey data recorded an overwhelming number of shogi buffs. Yes, thank you. Yeah, also, Mom, if I'm going too fast with the girls' voices or the voices that I don't read, just let me know and I'll slow down a bit so you have more time to read it. I'm sorry if I've been going too fast and you couldn't read the text. I'm gonna start a boxing match with Arceus. It's gonna be like Logan Paul versus KSI. Oh lord. Oh lord, soldier. Although going with the flow is pretty much the defining Japanese characteristic, it's still something of a pathetic story. Well, having given them a nice safe hobby like reading myself, I guess I can't really say too much. Nothing. Just talking to myself. Incidentally, once you're the one giving the surveys out, in other words, an executive type, the hobby of choice would be gardening. Not something you can do when you're living out of a barracks.
趣味ってそんなに大事?
Yeah, it's better to have some interest than not, even if they're really worthless. For example, the aforementioned employees and their wine, women, and song. Even then, if they can help you find a single common interest with someone, your hobbies are worthwhile as social lubricant, even if they're worthless in every other respect. This is something I heard secondhand from a senior employee at my job, but sometimes you get cases like this. This is a story about a man who took a business trip to Gifu Prefecture. I probably butchered that. It was a group expedition with the purpose of field testing new equipment that had just been deployed throughout his company. At the time, the man in question was a new employee, not even out of his training period. Nonetheless, he found himself taking a long, bumpy ride into the mountains on a company bus, accompanied by the chief of his special department. The man didn't have the first clue why he had been selected for the trip, let alone why he'd be expected to do on it. To make matters worse, he was sitting next to a powerful superior he barely knew. In short, The man was about ready to vomit, from sheer terror and anxiety. He fought desperately to keep calm, but his face was pale as a sheet. The bus finally reached its destination at the foot of Mount Kinka in Gifu after many unpleasant hours. But the man's relief was temporary, as his boss informed him they would be attending a large banquet in a high-class inn that night. Corporate banquets are basically a cruel kind of talent show. New employees were expected to perform some kind of skill for the amusement of the gathered VIPs. The newbies from each department mounted the stage one after the other. Quite a few croaked out popular karaoke ballads with stiff faces, but there were also some pretty competent juggling acts. Even one stand-up comedy duo which got some laughs doing imitations of superiors. The man watched the other acts with a fluttering heart. His turn was approaching fast, but he was basically a walking, breathing lump of artistic incompetence, an asocial type without a single talent worth performing in front of others. Just as he was wondering whether he could escape by pretending his sudden illness, the man was practically kicked out onto the stage by the senior employees. For lack of a better thought, he started to sing. But the man didn't know any popular songs. Worse, he couldn't remember any of the standard folk songs or children's music that might have worked in a pinch. The man went instead with the theme song from a superhero TV show, Lightspeed General Daimakarov, which he'd loved as a kid. By this point, he couldn't help but feel a growing sense of despair. This was, of course, the man's first time singing in public, and he didn't have much of a voice. Within moments, he was showered in jeers from the audience. "The hell are you singing? What's with you? Hey, asshole, are you just marking that up on the spot? I don't know why I said marking. Making that up on the spot? That's enough. Get off the stage. You suck." Although he wasn't the type to break down in tears, the man felt a deep urge to dig himself a hole and crawl into it. Only sheer stubbornness carried him through to the last humiliating note. When it was over, the man quickly bowed from the stage and raced back to his seat. On the walk back from the stage, the man had a thought. I wish I'd learned a popular song or two.
つまりカラオケが趣味だったらいらん恥をかかずに済んだってお話?
Well, if you look at it that way, you're right. But the story isn't over yet. With the equipment test wrapped up, the man had returned to his new assignment at a branch office in Shizuoka. Someone called out to him as he was dealing with the transfer paperwork. "Say, you are the newbie who sang Daimakarov at the banquet in Gifu?" The man's breath caught in his throat. He'd figured out by now that the main job of his superiors was to flaunt their authority by picking at the smallest mistakes and then rubbing his nose in them. Harsh. I know, right? Like, they freaking got that guy. It's just like, dude, just get off the stage. What are you doing? My God, I would never perform again if that happened to me, dude. And the manager speaking to him was infamous for his zealous leadership of his underlings. Frankly, the man was about ready to piss his pants. He swallowed and chewed his lip, bitter thoughts running through his head. What's he going to blame on me? How long will I have to grovel? Sorry. But the manager's words took him by surprise. I loved that show when I was a kid. The man blinked, dumbfounded by this unexpected development. You from Hiroshima, kid? According to the manager, Daimakarov reruns were played relentlessly every weekend afternoon on the local station. In other words, practically every child in Hiroshima grew up watching the show. But the man wasn't a Hiroshima native. In the area he lived in as a child, the Children's Encore Theater program would broadcast old episodes of the show every summer. Me neither. Yeah. He just happened to see a few. Even so, the manager must have been really pleased to find a fellow Daimakarov fan as he began to pull a few strings to the man's benefit. One night after work, the man returned to his bed in the company dorm to find that a white plastic bag had been tucked underneath the sheets on his neatly made bed. He didn't remember putting it there himself, and when he asked around, nobody else had any idea where it had come from. The bag contained a huge jelly roll and a cup of instant ramen. As a new employee, the man had to eat dinner at a set time of 5 p.m. By 10 p.m., lights out, time at the dorm, all of the trainees would be starving. This supplemental meal was therefore a very considerate present. The man had an idea who was responsible, most likely his Makarov buddy at the top, who was the only one who could have pulled it off. On top of the early dinner time, learning the ropes as a trainee is particularly tiring. His Makarov buddy had probably figured he'd have a hard time getting his young buddy to fall asleep on an empty stomach. The man actually didn't have a particularly big appetite and wasn't the type to be troubled by irregular meals. But then again, as a new employee, he didn't have much money he could spend freely on snacks and such. A little sugar was extremely welcome. If I get caught, they'll get punished too. So the man split the smuggled food with the other trainees in his room, and they all devoured their shares greedily. Bro, now ramen sounds good. I'm gonna go make some. Alright, soldier, get you some ramen. As the presents from his Makarov buddy, at the time they were known as the Makarov supply drop, continued, that talentless, quiet, and hobbyless triple threat contender for the asocial crown suddenly found himself getting along with the group in the dorm, all thanks to the Makarov connection. And 3 months later, when the man's training period came to end, it was once again his Makarov buddy whose recommendation got him assigned to the Chiba branch office he'd hoped for. In other words, when it comes to hobbies and interests, anything is fine. Finding friends you can talk about some common interests with is a really valuable thing. Sometimes, something that small can be the trigger for gaining a huge leg up in life. That's the moral of the story.
Oh, なんかよくわかんないけど、大マカロフって大きなマカロンみたいで美味しそうなのよ。
I thought this was a pretty meaningful story. I guess it didn't quite get across. Had ramen earlier. A mochi would be good now. A mochi does sound good. Just don't eat me. I'm not edible. That mochi boy is not an edible mochi.
要は一人で散歩したりお人形さんごっこしてばっかいないでいろんなこと経験しとけってことなのね。
Well, more or less. When you're young, you should mess around with all sorts of things. Just try to find something that grabs you, even if it's stupid crap.
お兄ちゃんは今なんか夢中になってることあるの？
After all that spacing out, that's a pretty sharp question. I glanced down towards the pile of borrowed books I'm holding in my hands. I suppose, right now, I don't have anything other than reading that qualifies.
ロールケーキ食べたいね。
No worries, I have some fruit-filled mochi here. Ooh, that sounds good. I had, a couple months ago, I had some, ice cream mochi that had, like, I got a couple of different flavors. There was chocolate banana. I didn't really like that one. The vanilla and the chocolate one I did like. Oh, yeah, there was, like, a peach one. I think it was, yeah, it was peach ice cream mochi. I really liked that one. I think all my ramen is like 5 years old. I don't know if you should eat it if it's that old. You aren't really listening to a word I say, are you? Well, not to say that you need to.
だってさっきのお話で出てきたロールケーキって単語が気になっちゃったのよさ。あとマカロン。
Macaron man too. Go get a Monet to make something.
ぜひそうしよう。お兄ちゃんも後でアマネーのお部屋においで。一緒におやつ食べようよ。
I found some that's newer. Oh, okay. Yeah, if I'm in the mood. I see. I learned my own lesson from this conversation. If there's a mention of food in the middle of a story, Makina won't remember another word. I'll have to be more careful next time. Had mochi ice cream Friday, chocolate chip. Oh my gosh. That sounds so good. I need mochi. During my middle school days in America, I got a number of strange nicknames from my classmates. Mainly because none of them could be bothered to remember a Japanese name. On the predictable side, there was Jap and Shorty. My family name was Kazumi, got abbreviated to KZ as well. However, among my numerous nicknames, the only one that stuck through basic training was Gar. Short for garbage eater. Damn. It's not that I had a reputation for dumpster diving. It was a reference to my tolerance for shitty food. As to how I earned it, the story is very simple. The KP made a slop unfit for pigs, and I ate it without grimacing. I think ramen keeps a while, but 5 years is dicey. Yeah. Freeze-dried scrambled eggs, pork, and beans made from scraps of ham. Bread with peanut butter, and ridiculously stringy mystery meat were the staples. Every one of them had a weird chemical aftertaste, and they were all disgusting. Rumor had it that the secret sauce was gasoline. Oh my god. As for the chocolate cake we got for dessert, it was more commonly and accurately described as dessert. Oh, like dessert, like get away. Wait, no, I think that means like dry, like a desert. Okay. That cake was legendary for being inedible. No matter how starved you were, it would end up stuck in your throat as a dry lump. But I ate it, and all the rest without complaining. Dang, yeah, that does sound gross, Mom. I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to eat all that crap. Probably because I was living rough from a young age. I've never been what you'd call a picky eater. To put it simply, as long as my belly was full and my body was getting what it needed, the taste wasn't a concern. So even those 3 torturous meals a day didn't inspire any serious complaints from me. But the people around me must have thought I was some sort of freak. And after a while, my nickname of Garbage Eater then eventually just Gar. Hey Gar, just how shitty a cook was your mom? I had a set response to this one. My mom didn't cook much. She was too busy screwing your dad's brain out. Oh my god. As far as my jokes go, I thought it was kind of witty, but that line didn't get that many laughs. Yeah, it's not really a gotcha, to be honest, my man. Hey, I can eat it and not go over today. Nice. I guess my delivery was a bit too stony. Well then, what should I do for dinner? I don't particularly feel a desire to eat, but if you don't take meals at 3 regular times a day, it throws off your body's clock and leaves you more susceptible to fatigue. To tell the truth, I view meals as nothing more than an element of maintaining my physical condition as long as I'm getting sufficient nourishment. I'm not that caught up on when or what I eat. Yeah, not me, bro. Cannot relate to that. I see food as joy. When I spend any effort considering things like that, all I end up thinking about is how much of a pain in the ass it's going to be to make something. And eventually, the act of eating itself starts to feel like a nuisance. My normal pattern is to just throw something together from my supply of canned and dried food. Well, this is my room. Amane barges in like she owns the place, no longer even bothering to knock, but I'm already getting used to it, I guess. Probably because I've experienced a lot of emergency summons. It didn't get to me that much in the first place.
7時になったら私の部屋にご飯食べにおいでって言ったでしょ。夕食の用意してマキナと待ってたのになんで来ないかな。
As she speaks, I notice that Amane is holding a plate piled with crab legs in her hands.
実家からカニが届いたから食べにおいでって言ったじゃんさ。
I do recall such an event. I also recall responding, if I'm in the mood. Not that I'd definitely be there. Yes, but I said that you and Makina should go ahead and eat if I didn't show up on time.
何？あんたもカニ嫌いなの？
Not really.
殻を剥いて食べるのがめんどくさいでしょ？マキナも同じこと言うのよね。剥いてあげれば食べるくせにさ。剥いてあげれば剥いてあげたであの子。これぞザッツカニパンでしょとか言いながらパンに挟んで食べるのよ。
The crab croissant. That someone needs to patent that. The crab croissant. I'm ready for it. I feel like that would taste good, maybe.
基本的に物の価値が分かっていないっていうか、挙句には言うにこと書いてかまぼこの方がうめえなって失礼しちゃうわよ。
Probably just means that Makina places more importance on how easy it is to eat. Honestly, I think I'd go for crab paste over crab myself.
なーによ、張り合いのない子たちね。世の中には食べたくても食べられない子がたくさんいるのよ。
That's certainly true.
分かったのなら文句を言わず食べなさい。殻剥いてあげるから。
Look, I wasn't really complaining, and I can take care of the shell on my own.
っていうか、私が来なかったら何を食べるつもりだったの？へえ、ご飯は炊いてあるんだ。でもこれいつ炊いたの？なんかカチカチ。
Hey, hands off! Amane's wandered off into my kitchen and is examining things as she pleases. After confirming the contents of my mess kit cooker, she opens the door to my refrigerator and starts taking stock of my supplies.
食べかけの缶詰の残りと魚肉ソーセージとマヨネーズにレタスとチンゲン菜。何これ？たくあんの缶詰？こんなのどこで売ってるのよ。っていうか、いつ開けたの？
I opened it at lunch. Get off my back! Why is it that this feels strangely embarrassing? It's not like I have anything troublesome in the fridge. In the first place, where did she get off calling canned radish this thing? It's well known among canned food connoisseurs as almost decent and pretty much edible. It's edible, damn it! Leave my canned radish alone! I don't think I've ever ate radish. Is this woman looking down on the brave men and women who have gained courage from canned food throughout the years? As I silently burn with righteous indignation, Amane brazenly starts running tap water into my rice cooker. Man's doing the Arthur closed fist meme. He's like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Hey, what do you think you're doing?
だってこのままじゃご飯がカチカチだし、一回水で戻すのよ。
I don't care if it's hard. Probably because I'm used to eating canned stuff that comes out aired and stiff as a wax candle. I'm pretty tolerant of tough food.
卵は2つしかないけど使っちゃっていい？
Mochi, I'm at a loss for words. Hey, Salsa, what's up? What's going on? What are you at a loss for words for? I don't care, but what are you planning?
カニチャーハン作ってあげる。あんたはおとなしく座って待ってなさいな。
Well, I suppose pretty much anyone can handle fried rice, especially if for a woman. The somewhat prejudiced assumption is that you'll have a basic skill like that. Fact is, out of all the women I've met so far, the only one who couldn't make edible fried rice was my master. Someone came in my chat and and said, I'm a part of the LGBTQ community. Okay. What else did they say? Or was that it? Or did they just come in and say, I'm a member of the LGBTQ community? Still, I can't quite hide a certain anxiety, not that Amane is paying any attention, humming to herself as she cracks open the eggs. They were being dumb? Oh, were they like trying to be like, what would you call like being against like not LGBTQ? Oh, okay. So they were basically just being an asshole. I got you. My ramen tastes like Lay's barbecue chips. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about your ramen tasting like that, bro. Yeah, I don't get people that just hate on people that have different sexualities or just different races. It's just stupid. Like, come on, let's just get along. Like, we're all people. I would get some new ramen. Yeah, same here. Still, I can't quite hide a certain anxiety. Not that Amane is paying any attention, humming to herself as she cracks open the eggs. After shaking salt and pepper onto the eggs, she mixes in the lightly rinsed rice. Oh. People are just dumb. Everyone is a person. Yeah. Our differences make us all different. Right. For sure. Then adds a bit of crab meat, only about half of what she brought, and finally chopped radish. She heats a frying pan coated with mayonnaise rather than oil, adds the lettuce and spinach she plundered from my fridge, and throws in the rice mixture according to her own timing. Bro, it does. It's very salty and used BBQ sauce. It's fine though, if I get sick I wouldn't care that. No, soldier, take care of yourself. Sticking the back of her ladle into the mix, she vigorously clatters it around the frying pan, messily stir-frying the food. Also, I don't know if I said, but welcome, Salsa. Thank you for dropping by again. I hope you're being entertained by the story that's going on, and not cringing at my reading. Tastes good though? Oh well, if you like it, that doesn't matter then, soldier. When Amane decides it's done, she uses the bowl as a mold to form the fried rice into a perfect hemisphere, then tosses it onto the plate. This wouldn't look out of place in a Chinese restaurant.
そして最後に
Dressing the leftover crab meat with mustard and mayo, she drops it with a thud on top of the heap of fried rice on the plate.
はーいお待たせ
So she says, but it hasn't even been 10 minutes since Amane started to cook. The imposing pile of steaming fried rice on my plate looks pretty damn impressive for something cobbled together out of leftovers and in such a short time.
っていうかこの部屋もっと大きいテーブルないの？なんかお皿とかも少ないし今度来るとき持ってこようか？
Not necessary. I've got what I need. The table is a small coffee table for one that Sachi dragged out of some storage room as a stopgap measure. And the frying pan and what tableware I have are things I picked out carelessly at a local 100 yen and hardware stores, but since I'm living alone, it's all perfectly adequate. No point in getting more dishes when I'm only eating off one. Just means more things to wash.
確かに洗い物は溜め込んでないみたいだけど
Noticing something as she speaks, Amane returns to the kitchen and starts to rustle through a plastic bag in the corner.
これはゴミ？捨てていいの？
Yeah. I've been throwing my empty oolong tea bottles in that bag, and before I knew it, I had something of a pile, but I was uncertain about the timing to throw them out.
明日資源ゴミの日だから一緒に出しておいてあげる。
With well-practiced movements, she peels off the labels, removes the caps, and skillfully cuts off their plastic rings with the tip of a kitchen knife. Finally, she lightly rinses the bottles themselves with tap water. Judging from the smooth motion of her hands, she's repeated this often enough to gain the mastery of an assembly line worker. Clearly, she's something of an eco-friendly woman.
じゃあ、私部屋に戻るけど、食べ終わったらちゃんとお皿は洗い桶につけておいてね。後で洗いに来るから。
No, I can take care of that myself. Sorry for the hassle.
いいのよ。ちゃんとこういうこともできるって見せておかないと、ただのエッチなお姉さんだと思われちゃうしね。
That is very specific. Wildly specific. With a quick goodbye, Amane heads out of the room, not waiting for my impressions of the crab fried rice. I had the idea that a busybody woman like her would be more likely to hang over my shoulder pestering me for compliments, but she just popped in all of a sudden, cooked for me in a flash, and then left it just as quickly. It might be the influence of dealing with that whimsical Machina all the time. Let's eat. Unfortunately, I don't have a Chinese spoon in this room, so I'll have to make do with the standard Western variety. I jab my spoon into the mountain of steaming fried rice and quickly throw some into my mouth. Not bad at all. Even someone as disinterested in food as me can tell when something tastes good. The salt seasoning feels a bit thin, but this is probably how it should be if you're thinking about healthy sodium intake. Although it would be insulting to compare this to the crap my master made, it's also different from the stuff you'd get at a high-priced Chinese restaurant. It tastes like your standard fried rice. What's with this flavor? When I was living alone with my mother as a child, I remember eating fried rice that tastes like this. After finishing her day job, my mother would make me dinner before her night shift started. And the last week of the month, before her paychecks came in, it would often be a pretty plain meal of fried rice. When all she could put on the table was fried rice with a bit of pink fish paste added, she would apologize as I ate. "I'm sorry, this is all we got." Unlike the fried rice Amani just made, there was never anything extravagant like crab thrown in, and Amani's cooking skills seemed to be better as well. Oh, let me see what you said. I'm gonna go take care of my bowl. I'll BRB. Alright, soldier. So why is it that they taste similar? Where's this slight melancholy coming from? Well, it doesn't matter as long as it's good. When I was a kid, anything I ate tasted good. That part of me hasn't changed too much. It's very dangerous to jump to conclusions about someone. When you make a judgment without sufficient information, you're going to be at least slightly off. Whether that's an over- or underestimation, it clouds your perception and often comes back to bite you in the end. My employer is exactly this sort of organization that lives and dies by gathering an accurate intelligence, and I heard a lot about its importance from my acid-tongued master as well. Therefore, I make a conscious effort not to label others prematurely. That said, every time this Matsushima Michiru girl enters my field of vision, I find myself dying to stick exactly such a mental label on her. Yo, Michiru. I've been standing in front of you for a while now. Why are you acting like you just noticed?
仕方ないでしょ。今私集中してたんだから。あんたなんか目に入らなかったのよ。眼中になかったの。視界不良だったの。わかる？
I see. Understood. But that utter lack of awareness might cost you your life someday. Please make sure to look both ways for cars before you cross the road.
うさい。バカ。
I offered an appropriate warning given your actions. Why the verbal abuse?
うさいのうさいの。あっち行けこの子の。
Michiru vigorously throws the empty paper carton she was holding at me. Flying into a fit of rage just because someone tells you something that you don't want to hear isn't a good habit.
ユージなんか酸っぱくなれこの。
Oh. Judging that I don't have a foothold in this conversation, I pick up the garbage Michiru hurled at me and temporarily withdraw from the scene. 100% vitamin C drink? Reading out the description printed on the carton, I tilt my head in bemusement. I've seen plenty of 100% fruit juice drinks, but this is a new one. The parent company of this manufacturer is a pharmaceutical corporation. Maybe it's some sort of undiluted vitamin solution used in beauty products? Or maybe it's not meant literally, and they're just exaggerating to play up the fact that it's packed full of the stuff. Either way, it's a soft drink that emphasizes its vitamin C content above all else. Which means that it's probably incredibly sour and acidic. It must be torture to drink unless you've got a pretty strong tolerance for that sort of thing. Oh my god, Soldier, I'm sorry I missed your messages. Alright, I'm back. Back to getting normal Arceus. No, dude, you're gonna get shiny Arceus, I promise. So why was she drinking this stuff? From the look on her face, I don't think it was out of fondness for the taste. Some kind of self-flagellation, maybe?
なぜあなたがここにいるの?
Interrupting my thoughts, Sakaki stares at me suspiciously. Yo, if it isn't human...
一応それが私のあだ名なのかどうかその事実だけは聞いておこうかしら
Calm down. If you lose your sense of humor, you won't be able to live a fun life.
別に楽しく生きるつもりもないわ
I see. In that case, it wasn't a nickname. Slip of the tongue. Happy now?
本当に腹の立つ男ね
If I expect the worst, I can never get disappointed. That's true. That is true. Aggravating as I may be, Sakaki nonetheless approaches me.
手に何を持っているの?
This? It's an empty soft drink carton. That blonde girl was drinking it earlier.
どうしてそれをあなたが? まさかそういうのを集める趣味があるんじゃないでしょうね
Yumiko say, "Hey, yo, you a freak? What the hell? Collecting drink bottles? What the hell? Is collecting this sort of thing as evil a hobby as that scowl implies? I'm interested. Please explain in detail."
検索サイトでも使えばいいでしょ
For some reason, Sakaki is trembling with anger. Seems I still can't anticipate what will trigger this woman's wrath.
話を戻すけどそれ松島さんがいつも飲んでるやつよね嫌そうな顔をして
Right. I wanted to ask about that. Why is she drinking something she so plainly hates? Did she lose a bet? Is she being bullied? Was she placed under a malevolent spell?
あなたの思考ってなんというか0か10かしかないのね
Alright, so correct me.
さあそこまでは私にはわからないわあの子とは深く関わったこともないしそもそもクラスメイトという以外の興味もない
And yet, I'm pretty sure you knew this was Michiru's carton before you asked.
あなたの底意地の悪さは字なのそれとも私に対してだけ
I was just trying to explore an apparent logical inconsistency. The wrinkles in Sakaki's forehead grow deeper and her glare is sharper. Apparently, there are some logical inconsistencies best left unexplored when she's around. Specifically, those concerning her contrary personality.
あの子、お菓子とかもよく食べてるみたいだし、いろいろな食べ物に興味があるんじゃないの?
Now that you mention it, seems like she's always carrying around those ramen candies.
あら、あなたの方こそ観察が細かいわね。松島さんに興味があるのかしら?
Are you interested in knowing whether I'm interested in Michiru?
あなたの前では余計なことを一切言わないように心がけるわ。それじゃ。
With an extremely displeased expression, Yumiko leaves the roof. There sure are a lot of troublesome girls in this place. After spending a little time sharing a dorm with them, it's pretty obvious that everyone in this place has a few screws loose, and probably a few skeletons in the closet as well. Amani and Sakaki aren't easy to deal with in the first place, and there seems to be more to them than they are letting on. The same is probably true of Makina and Sachi. That said, when it comes to that bottle blonde girl, no matter how many times I try to look below the surface, I keep hitting rock bottom right away. If she's got any hidden depths, they're very well hidden. In other words, I've got a persistent suspicion that she's an idiot. Oh, that was a long way of saying someone's stupid. Still, it's too early to label her. I should bide my time and get a better idea of her personality before reaching any conclusions. But seriously, now. What are you doing?
またあんたなの？何人のこと観察してんのよ。
I'm not spying on you, I just happened to be here. Leaving that aside, are you drawing the character for person on your hand? It's a pretty stale superstition.
何言ってんのよ。これでいつ胸焼けを抑えられるんだから放っておいてよね。
Heartburn and indigestion.
そうよ。これやるだけで治っちゃうんだからすごいおまじないなのよ。あんたも真似したけりゃ真似すりゃいいわよ。
Sure, might come in handy sometime.
その時は私に感謝しなさいよね。みちる様は便利な体をお持ちで羨ましいです。
I thought the drawing on your hand thing was supposed to calm you down before a big public speech or whatever. Since when did it become a replacement for Azulene sulfonite sodium?
その成分については過分にして存じ上げませんが、みちる様の体内がワンダーランドなのは疑いようのない事実です。
Thanks, Sachi. You're pretty cruel, Sachi.
何がひどいんですか?
Never mind.
ちょっとあまね、待ちなさいよ。うわ、みちる、どうしたの？昨日あまねに買ってきてもらったジュース、思いっきり賞味期限切れちゃってたわよ。嘘、それはちゃんとチェックしてるわよ。ありえないってば。本当よ、これ見てみなさいよ。ほら、5月3日って書いてあるでしょ。1ヶ月も？ちょっと貸してみて。みちる。何よ、別に責めたりしないのよ。ただ完璧主婦を演じるあなたにもこういう弱点があるということを認め。
It's gonna be like not expired for like a year or like 2 years.
今年何年か言ってみなさいな。バカにして、今年は2012年でしょ。それぐらいは。2011年です。 え、そうだっけ？そうです。あ、じゃあその表示ってそうよ。ここに書いてある賞味期限2012年5月ってね、あと11ヶ月先なの。わかる？だから賞味期限切れてるとか言いがかりなの。なのにあなたは夕飯の準備しなきゃ。あまねも悪かったよね。引き止めたりして。待てこら、人にしょうもない勘違いで疑いをかけたことについて謝罪しろ。逃げやがった。
Yo.
ユージ君見てた
？Ever since your polite greeting of "Gah!" towards your classmate.
あの子を何度も相手にしてたらそういう反応になるでしょ。
I think I can see where you're coming from. Pile enough of these cases together, and I can't help but bring my deadline for a conclusion forward. One day, the topic of Michiru comes up when we're all gathered together. Incidentally, the person in question is already in bed.
チルチルは宇宙人なのよさ。
Well, alright. A unique theory.
だから時々頭に銀紙を巻いて電波を受信しているのよ。
Huh? That effect.
チルチルを観察していればそのうちに見られるはず。
Although I have no intention of taking anything Makina says seriously, the scary thing is, when she says this about Michiru, it almost feels plausible.
宇宙人か。
What, you haven't thought about that?
独り言なんだからいちいち突っ込まないでくれる？
You were mumbling something interesting, so I was curious. Sorry. Please let me hear your delusions about Michiru, the ET, when you're in a better mood. Sorry if I rubbed you the wrong way, but try to keep in mind that I don't mean anything by it.
気に障らない言い方ができるよ。あなたも努力してくれないかしら。
まあしかしあのおバカっぷりが今まで命に関わるところで発揮されなくてよかったわよね。
もしかしたらオリジナルのミチル様はすでに生き絶え、現在のミチル様は全くの別人ということも。
Jesus, Sachi.
ごめんさっちゃん、さすがにそれは話が飛躍しすぎでしょう。
そうですね。ミチル様ほどの頭加減なら自分が死んでしまったことにすら気づかないという可能性もありますから。
それフォローになってないし。
Oh my god, I keep missing soldier messages. I've made up my mind. If Arceus doesn't shine by 10k encounter, I will stop hunting for a while. Yeah, that's fair. You don't want to burn yourself out after all. I hope you get it before then, though.
チルチルの中には悪魔が住んでいるのよさ。
A devil?
普段はあのおバカっぷりでカムフラージュしているけど、ひとたびそのベールを脱げば人の心を介さぬ悪魔が飛び出してみんなを一人一人血祭りにあげるのよさ。
That's definitely possible. What's the matter, Sakaki? Sounds like you suddenly caught your breath in fear.
私の行動に逐一突っ込まないでって言ったでしょ。あと詳細に説明するのもやめてちょうだい。
I will either get to 6k tonight or get it before then. Okay.
ああ、私もう寝る。なんだか怖くなってきちゃった。ってなんか寒くない？今日。
そういえばちょっと冷え込んでますね。
くしゃみが出る前に暖かくして寝ないと。
そんじゃおやすみなのよさ。お兄ちゃんもチルチルのことを忘れていい夢を見るのよ。
Is it really okay to just forget about her? The next morning, having finished my usual morning routine, I'm waiting for the others in the lobby. But for some reason, nobody's showing up. Everybody's late at once? Seems like a bit too much of a coincidence. The pattern so far has been Amane and Makina noisily arriving first, followed by Sachi and Michiru noisily arriving second, and with Sakaki sullenly arriving last. The normally rowdy morning is bizarrely quiet today.
おはよう。
Just as I'm thinking this, Amane appears around the corner of the hallway. She's hunched over, hiding the breast she's got so proud of. Her hair is sticking up in places, and her skin seems rough.
風邪ひいちゃった。季節の変わり目なのに夜更かししたから。
You look bad. Your beloved breasts are all shriveled.
え、嘘、そんなはずは。
Of course, I'm just screwing with you. What kind of cold would cause breasts to shrink? Haven't heard of one.
あのね、体調悪い相手にそういう趣味の悪い冗談事言うのやめてくんない？
Understood. I'll do my best. Where are the others?
さあ、マキナは私の風邪もらったのか部屋でダウンしてる。
So we're waiting on the other three. As I speak, someone appears from around the corner.
おはようございます。
Sachi, the next to arrive, has an equally severe case of the sniffles. Her maid uniform is disheveled, bringing to mind certain cheap Japanese... Okay. Muggs the Assassin, I read the rules and thought it said keep cursing. Hey Muggs, welcome! I'm glad you can make it. How you doing, Muggs? I haven't seen you in a bit. How you been, man?
あら、さっちゃんもダウン？
はい、面目ないです。
Good,
メ
how
イド
about
と
you?
してあるまじ
I'm
き
pretty
体調
good.
管理の不甲斐なさで、世が世なら自害もやむを得ないくらいではないかと。
Dear Lord. Anyway, sorry. I'm pretty good. Just, what we're doing today is we're watching, I'm reading a visual novel called The Fruit of Grisaia. It's basically a super secret agent kid, high schooler, transfers into a school in hopes of living a normal school life, as long as hopefully getting some whammon. Been doing state testing and I'm studying for finals now. Oh, gotcha. I hope all that goes well. I know that stuff can be hella stressful. I don't think there were many historical periods where catching a cold was punishable by death, Sachi.
風見さんもおはようございます。で、他の方は？
This is all of us so far. Makina's unconscious in her room. Sakaki... Just as I was about speaking, I hear the sound of dragging footsteps from around the corner. It's obvious from a look at Yumiko's face that she's in bad shape herself. She must be pretty out of it since she hasn't noticed that her socks are strangely bunched up at the toe. Her hair's a mess too, with loose strands bouncing around with every step.
いいから。
Mind if I ask what I'm supposed to be leaving?
いろいろと突っ込みたいんでしょ。でも何も言わなくていいから。私への興味質問を他に向けてくれないかしら。
Oh man, these voice actors have no need to add these extra noises. You know, for real though. But I'm glad you dropped by, Muggs. I know I know you're pretty active in Memi Stream, so I appreciate you giving me a check out. I really appreciate it. Understood. I won't comment on your bunched up socks or those stray hairs you've got all over the place.
体調が元に戻ったら許さないから。
Yumiko's forehead creases in the usual way as she straightens her hair and fixes her socks. But the powerful aura of rage that normally accompanies her scowls isn't there.
ユウジ君は平気なの？
Staying healthy is part of my job.
そうなると体調が万全なのは風見さんと。
そういえば今日はまだ見かけないわね。
At the very moment everyone was imagining a certain face,
だらしないわね、あんたたち。
Michiru dramatically appears in the hallway as if she'd been lying in wait for the right moment to make her grand entrance. Probably because she had, in fact, been lying in wait for the right moment to make her grand entrance. She jabs a finger out at us in an apparent attempt at an impressive pose.
季節の変わり目だし気をつけなきゃダメでしょ。案の定揃いも揃って体調崩してるなんて実医楽もいいとこだわ。
I'm not sick. Also, did you mean negligent?
本当にあんたたち実医楽ね、実医楽。
Ignoring me and her own poor grasp of the language, Michiru continues to harp on the negligee group.
元気だけが取り柄みたいなメンツなのに風邪ひいてバカみたいに鼻ずるずる言わしちゃって情けないわね。
あなたに言われたくないわよ。
Likewise, ignoring Sakaki's crankiness, Michiru reaches into the pouch she's carrying, takes out a variety of boxes and plastic pouches, and places them on the common room table. Oh, gotcha.
ほら、ちゃんと薬とかインスタントのおかゆとか用意したから各自持って帰ってさっさと治すこといいわね。ムカつくけど今日は反論できない。
ありがたくいただきますね、みちる様。
感謝してもいいのよ。つか感謝しなさいよね。
You must thank me. In a truly rare spectacle, the group obediently follows Michiru's orders. The girl seems overjoyed, almost disturbingly so.
こういう時、なぜかあの子だけ元気なのよね。
This has happened before?
なぜか風邪ひかないのよ、松島さんだけ。一時は本気で一服盛られてるんじゃないかって疑ったこともあったわ。
Oh my god. Poisoning?
何を考え込んでいるのかしら。
I'll go back to 7. Alright, Mugs. Thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Good night. Good night, Mugs. Have a good one. You might not be too far off with that hypothesis. It's just that you aren't the ones being poisoned here.
Huh?
Have a nice stream. Thank you so much, Mugs.
しかし見事に私だけ風邪ひかないわね。なんでなんだろう。
I think Salsa might have, is probably either looking or he went somewhere else, Mom. So, I don't know. Michiru tilts her head in honest puzzlement. A daily vitamin C intake on the level of self-poisoning, a sleep and activity schedule like that of a grade schooler, and a naturally tranquil vacant mind. Combining all of these factors, it's no wonder she doesn't get sick often.
まあ、いっか。ほらほら、ユミコもぼーっとしてないで。早く取るもの取って部屋に戻りなさいよ。
言われなくてもそうするわよ。
Although her words sound defiant, Sakaki also obediently takes advantage of Michiru's kindness. Even if her willpower has been weakened by the cold, it doesn't seem like the Sakaki I know. I see. I've gotten something of a new perspective on this girl. Honestly, there's no mistaking the fact that she's an idiot. But without a doubt, she's a necessary idiot for this place. Among this strangely precocious bunch, Michiru is a complete outlier in her lifestyle, patterns, and thought processes. I guess her presence actually helps balance out the group in a way.
おかゆ、梅味がない。
ああ、あまねが持ってっちゃったのね。わかったわ。じゃあ後で部屋に持っていくから薬だけ持って戻りなさい。
わかったわ。ありがとう。
Aww, wholesome.
ユミコも存分に感謝するがいいわ。
Never mind.
あ、いや、感謝してもいいのよ。
Above all, I'm seriously surprised by the way something vaguely resembling friendly feeling seems to be temporarily present between her and this box cutter woman. Sakaki's apparent interest in Michiru also seems to hint at some sort of positive emotion. Michiru might have some sort of mysterious charm in her own right.
ちょっとユージ、
What?
あんたもぼさっとしてないで風もらわないようにマスクするとかしなさいよね。ほら、ここに用意しといたから立体マスク。
Yeah, I'll take one. Taking the mask, Michiru thrust out at me. I returned to my room. There are parts of people you can't judge from a unified perspective. Trivial as it might seem, I picked up another bit of knowledge at this school. Alright guys. I think I'm gonna... wait. Alright, we'll end it off on, Michiru's strange gulping sounds. But, I'm gonna end it at the 2-hour mark, because I'm a bit tired today, because, I was helping my mom all day, and I was, like, just... She's moving into a new house, so I had to, like, help clean up. I was yanking up carpet, yanking out friggin' staples, and, nails, and yeah, just all that stuff. So I'm very tired. My arms are sore. So I'm sorry I'm ending early, but I really appreciate all of you for coming. Amazing way to end. Well, yeah, I know, right? Freaking, but let us find someone to raid, shall we? Ooh, okay. Let's raid Cap and Nebby. We're gonna raid Cap and Nebby. Now, you guys, are all my epic gamers ready to raid? Cap and Nebby. Yeah. And let me pull up her stream.
終了するの？
End the game.
わかったわ。
And give me just a second, guys. Twitch. As you can tell, I'm very professional. Very professional. Happen maybe. Alright guys, so we're gonna go ahead and raid Cap and Nebby. I hope you all enjoyed, and when we get in there, I want everyone to type Raid Shadow Legends in all caps. Alright, let's go ahead and get that raid command going. And again, I thank you everyone so much for just coming in. I really appreciate all of you. And bye-bye!
Why does that fit so well?
Shield. That's what you got.
Oh,
Mochi!
Shield, hey, welcome, Raiders! Welcome!
You don't go
Oh
down
my gosh,
right
thank
away.
you so much for the raid, Mochi. What? Welcome,
However, though,
welcome.
once you get
Raid
hit,
Shadow
there'll be a yellow
Legends.
bar
What,
that will
what?
pop up, and
Is that what you were
actually,
playing?
Mending.
Tell us how your stream went.
Which-
How is everybody?
Yeah, which pretty much just is like healing up your wounds.